We'll see if we have anybody else.
It's inside, isn't it, or is it outside?
Papa, guess what I did when I went to the library? When I brought home a chapter book. It had 150 pages, and I read it in 30 minutes.
The open door down there. Thank you. Yep.
Here. There you go, there real quick. Push the button.
Can you just turn it up?
That's right. Good morning. Sit down, buddy. About 4 more minutes. We'll see if we have anybody else.
Did you see snakes?
I was afraid it was going to break it through the glass because it kept coming close.
I was definitely checking you out. I don't think they felt scared of you. There's the doors over there. See, Derek, look. We were right. It was a red-bellied water snake. Look, there's a picture of it.
All right, guys, we'll get started. Thank you for your interest in today's program. If you haven't already figured it out, we're going to talk about snakes.
Yeah.
And along with some dead snakes, we have live snakes that we're going to show. We'll give you the opportunity to touch a real live snake if you want to. We're going to talk about how snakes help us more than they do hurt us. And we'll also talk about some of the dangers of snakes, okay? My name is Ranger German. I've been here at the park for 13 years. And this is one of my favorite programs to do. Because when I first started, I didn't like snakes. I was like most people, you know, snakes sort of portrayed as dangerous and harmful and scary. But, you know, if you educate yourself about snakes, they're not bad at all. As long as you leave them alone, they leave you alone. Snakes bite to defend themselves. That's the only way they can defend themselves, is bite. So, like we can push or punch or kick if somebody tries to hurt us. Snakes can't do that, so they have to bite. So usually, when a snake bites somebody, it's because they either step on them by accident, or somebody tries to pick them up when snakes don't want to do so. There is the possibility of one of these snakes biting me today. When I go to pick him up, it has not happened in 13 years, knock on wood. But if it does, no problem at all. As long as I wash that area real good with soapy water, no problem at all. They're non-venomous, so they won't inject any kind of venom in me, so I'll be good to go, okay? So if I get bit today, it's not gonna scare you guys, is it? Maybe, it'll scare me. All right. In North Carolina, we have about 36 different kinds of snakes, or 37 or 36 different species. Out of those 36, only 6 of them are venomous. So the odds are most snakes that we see in the wild are non-venomous. I've worked here 13 years and I have only seen 2 rattlesnakes on the park, in 13 years, only 2. I've seen hundreds of water snakes, rat snakes, hognose snakes, which are all non-venomous. So odds are most snakes we see are non-venomous. The ones we have here today are going to be non-venomous, and ones that we commonly see around southeastern North Carolina. Starting with our first non-venomous snake. This snake here usually is not called by its common name, the name we'll see when we look in books or we look on posters. This snake has sort of adopted another name, often because he is seen around chicken coops and places where folks keep chickens, because one of his favorite meals are chicken eggs. They love to eat chicken eggs, and sometimes will even eat a small bitty or small chicken. This guy is often referred to as a chicken snake, but if we look on our boards here and we look down here in the bottom right corner, we'll see that this snake is a rat snake. So it's a rat snake, that's the common name. Chicken snake is the name that's picked up over the years from often being seen around chicken coops. Really good climbers. If chicken coops aren't around, they go to trees and try to find bird nests and eat the bird eggs. We feed this guy 2 chicken eggs per month. And right behind me, you'll see after the program, if you want to come up and look, some pictures of this guy eating those large eggs. And it's amazing how this snake can eat an egg that is 4 or 5 times larger than its head. They have a unique ability to unhinge their jaws and allow that mouth to get really wide to swallow things that way. Because if he could only eat things that were as tiny as his head, he'd have to eat all the time because every meal would be very, very tiny. So he can eat 2 eggs and that will last him a whole month. You see him now, he's wrapped around my arm. He's not squeezing very hard. He's doing that because snakes are cold-blooded animals. And that means they cannot generate or produce their own heat like we can. If we get cold, we can walk or run or do jumping jacks to warm ourselves up. This guy can't do that. So what he has to do is find things that are warm and lay on them, wrap around them, and absorb the heat from that object to his body. And that's what he's doing. My arm's somewhere around 98 degrees, and he's feeling that, so he's taking his body and warming himself up. This guy recently shed his skin, and I have it here, a whole piece. Raise your hand if you can tell me why you think snakes shed. Why would a snake have to shed its skin?
To grow.
That's exactly right. Snakes shed to allow their bodies to grow. During the summer months, we feed them more, they grow more, and they shed more. And as you can see, they shed from the very tip of their nose. This is his mouth. You can actually see where there's a thin layer of skin over their eyes. That sheds all the way to the tip of its tail. And he does that to grow very good.
Rarely you get a whole skin though at one time.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's a very nice skin there to show how they can do it. And it turns inside out. When they shed, it comes off of them inside out. See this guy sticking his tongue out? They refer to that as tasting the air. What that tongue is doing is catching little scent particles that we're all letting off of our body. And they stick to that tongue, and pulls it back in his mouth, and he's got a little sensory organ in his mouth that deciphers all that or figures all of it out. And he knows that there's nothing harmful around. Hopefully nothing in here is going to harm him. And it's just a sensory organ, a way for him. We use our eyes. We can see if there's danger around. Their eyes really don't work that way, so he uses that tongue to help himself figure out what's going on.
Does he also smell with his tongue?
One of the most common questions is, how do you tell a venomous snake from a non-venomous? I know most of you probably have heard people refer to it as poisonous or non-poisonous, but the correct way is, as the board says here, all the snakes that are venomous, you'll see the word venomous above the snake in red. The correct way to refer to it is venomous or non-venomous, and that is because of the way they inject the venom into you. Poison is something we consume or ingest. Venom, they put it in like a needle. Their fangs are like needles. Stick it in. There's muscles around their venom sacs that contracts and pushes that venom into your body. They only do that to protect themselves. And I've got a real neat story for you. In 13 years, we've only had one venomous snake bite on the park. We had a young lady hiking the trail, and she wandered off of the trail and was walking in weeds where she couldn't see where she was walking. She stepped on a snake. Well, the snake ended up being a venomous snake, and it bit her on top of the foot. From her description, we come to the conclusion that it was a copperhead, is what bit her, which is probably the most commonly seen venomous snake around here. But the unique thing about it was, I've heard of dry bites, something they call dry bites, and that was the case in that bite. The snake bit her, but did not inject any venom, and they call that a dry bite. They do that because it's an adult snake usually, and they know that they can't eat whatever it is they're biting. They know a large human, they can open their jaws pretty wide, but not that wide. So they only bite to get the person off of them. They conserve that venom and don't waste it. And that is called a dry bite. And I've heard of that, and I didn't know if that was true or not, but I found out firsthand that it is. An adult snake can do what they call dry bite and not inject venom. In return, a very small snake can be really dangerous and deadly because it doesn't know to do that. Every time it bites, it releases a lot of its venom, sometimes all of its venom, which can do a lot of damage. So our first snake is the rat snake, often called the chicken snake. There's two phases. This is the green phase rat snake. There's also a yellow phase rat snakes. All right, the 6 venomous snakes I told you about, I want to go over those. Out of the 6, 3 of them are rattlesnakes. The one rattlesnake that we see around here is called the timber rattlesnake, which is this guy right here, the one we often see. Another species of rattlesnake